In this tutorial, we're going to go in depth on GEM Equinox. I'm going to cover a few things that have not been mentioned in the previous video, as there might be a few things to take into consideration. For start, let's launch our application. I'll be using Savihost to make sure that the app is standalone, but you can run it on any DAW. When we launch it, it's going to ask us to locate our file. I'm going to go ahead and select Windows, and I'm going to select the Equinox plugin. And then this is our first window that we're going to see on startup. Keep in mind that if you're having technical difficulties with Savihost, you can go to the Savihost website at hermansaib.com. Once you do that, you should be able to download the latest version and just replace the one that's on your package. Now obviously, it's prompting you to select your instrument. And basically what it wants you to do is to locate the instrument file. So here's what I didn't mention in the previous video. The instrument file is this file right here, the one that says GEM Equinox. I'm going to click it open, and you're going to see these are the files that it's referring to. This is the 7 gigabyte sound library. So what it wants you to do is to basically copy the path, choose the folder, and paste. As you can see, there's nothing in there, but we can already see from the main window that there's these MSC files. Click select folder, and from now on, the next time you load Equinox, it will remember the sound bank that you created. The only exception for the next time you have to load in your sound bank would be either if you format your PC, if you get a new PC, or if you move or delete your library and send it to a different location. So for now, let's take a look at the user interface. And before we do that, let's talk about the architecture of this synth. This architecture is 32 notes polyphony. It is polyphonic, and most importantly, there are some sounds in here that do splits, so you may be surprised based on how much octaves you can go. Obviously, if you go lower octave or if you go higher octave, the problem is the pitch is going to be affected, and this is because this Equinox workstation VST unfortunately does not have time stretch. So what we had to do was something called false time stretch, where we extend the original sample to 20 seconds. So that way most of the range will take the pitches. If you go anything lower than that or higher than that, obviously it's going to cause issues. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and select our bank, and let's go ahead and select our first sound, which is Equinox. So here we got the pitch bend and modulation. If I hit a key, and I should mention there is velocity sensitivity. So when you hit the keys hard, it will play hard. If you hit them soft, they will play soft. This is a feature in Maze Sampler's synth engine. Anyway, so let's move on to the pitch bend modulation. So if I move the pitch and I play a key and I move the pitch back, as you can see, when I move the pitch, the sound will get affected. The same applies for the modulation, except the modulation is a bit different. So if I move all the way to here and I press the key, obviously it's going to modulate. If I press it back all the way to the left, the sound will be normal again. Now let's choose a different sound and let's play with the real-time controls. So for the real-time controls, I'm going to use this sound right here, which is Technoid. And now I want to play with a few sounds here. Maybe I want to put a bit of sustain, maybe a bit of release. Maybe a bit more release. Maybe a bit of decay. Put some cutoff. And maybe tune it up a bit. if you hit these arrow keys, basically it's gonna jump to the next bank. So I'm gonna just go into bank C, and I'm just gonna pick a sound from here. I'm gonna do a funk hold. Now that we have covered the top, oh, by the way, this right here is your sound indicator. So when I press a key, you can actually see the volume. And this button here is your MIDI panic. So if you press this button, it will reset all your MIDI controls. Down here, we have the effects. So basically, to turn on these effects, you have to actually click the button first before you can activate them. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the chorus because I like the chorus. The chorus sounds beautiful. Let's say I want to decrease the depth, increase the frequency, and maybe increase the mix. Yeah, that sounds better. Alright, for the next sound, I'm going to go into... You know what? Let's go for a GM bank. Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to pick overdrive. Let's say I want to apply some distortion here. Maybe a bit less drive, a bit less gain. Maybe add it into the mix. A little bit of gain. You can already tell that the sound is aggressive with the distortion applied. Next, let's go for something a little bit more, well, let's say an ocarina. For this time, I want to go for some reverb. But first, let's hear it without it. And now I want to apply some reverb to it. So I'm just going to increase the size. Maybe decrease some damp, a bit of width, add it to the mix. But let's say, for example, I don't want reverb. What if I want delay instead? Of course, I could just adjust the delay time, adjust a bit of feedback, add it to the mix. And then we have it. We have some delay added to it. And of course, we can combine everything together and we can go nuts with it. The good thing about this interface is right now I'm not really in the studio and I don't have a keyboard with me. I can actually still play Equinox with just the virtual keyboard down here. So that's always very convenient, especially when you don't have a MIDI controller around you. You can still be able to play Equinox as a standard plugin. Alright, so next we're going to go into the info button. So the info button actually brings you to the synthmania.com website where it gives you more information about Equinox. And if you scroll all the way down, you get to learn about exactly what's included, the specs. And of course, you can also audition most of these sounds. So for example, let's say I want to go back to sound number 1. If I go to bank performance and I want to go to the dream. And let's say, for example, you have no clue how to play this sound and you want some inspiration. Well, that's what this website is for. If you click on the dream here, you can actually listen to an audition here. Basically, this applies for most of the sounds. Not all sounds are going to have auditions, but then again, I mean, this is how this website is adjusted. And you can also listen to some unexpected stuff, like, for example, sounds that are not even in the instrument, like Combi 1, as mentioned in the previous video. That's pretty much the entire interface of GEM Equinox. So again, if you want to take part of this incredible instrument, you could visit our website for more information. And ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.